From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production, the NFL Bet Exchange, hosted by my man, Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper, and the Don of Cape Cod, Jeff Dawson.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper. And boy, oh boy, it is time. It is season 3 of the NFL Bet Exchange. And you already know who's right here with me, the Don of Cape Cod himself, Mr. Jeff Dawson. How you doing today in lovely Las Vegas? We on the same time today.
Yes, we are. Another season 3. Super excited to kick off the season. It's got some great games this year. It's been a fun year so far, but we're hoping to finish 2022 strong. How's that, Pops?
Man, it's strong. That's all I can say is strong. That's all what it's about. And this is what we're working on. This is what we're working with early, Jeff. We got ourselves a good game coming up Thursday. It's a good season. You know what? Preseason for the first time in a long time was just really kind of just came and went. You know, and a lot of people have now understand that preseason has now just became more of an evaluation point to try to fill in those last 5 spots on the roster. You know what I mean? Or to see if you might see a guy that outshines a guy that is on his way out. You know what I mean? Things like that. You know what I mean? And it's nothing spectacular or anything to write home about, but it is good for teams evaluating. It's good for fans who might have a guy that they think is the guy, and then it's always good for fantasy as well too. And yeah, I couldn't believe it last night. I got Josh Allen and Devontae Adams in it. In anybody else's world, I spent $200 million apiece on those guys.
Well, I do think it's the Bills' year, meaning it's theirs to lose. I think the difference in the past 2 years to this year is I think they'll have the number 1 seed, and good luck trying to win in December and January in Buffalo. So it's going to be interesting for sure, Pups.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into our first game, Thursday Night Football, and we have ourselves the defending world champions, the Los Angeles Rams, going against the Buffalo Bills, who are seen as the favorite to win not just the AFC, but to win the whole damn thing. Last time I checked, they were at 6-1, Jeff. And going into this game, I will really say this. I will admit to this, that this is a game where we've came to accustomed to the hangover. You know what I mean? And I think when it comes down to it, in this spot right here, in this game right here, that it's going to come down to who wants it a little bit more early. I think that this game will be settled early as well too. One thing that's working in the Rams' favor since they've moved to SoFi, they've had 2 big blowout wins at home to start the season on. So I know that does weigh in, but we can both agree that they had teams that they were supposed to whoop in those games as well too. You know what I mean? Those teams were outclassed, outnumbered. What first year was the Bears, right? And then I think they had a matchup with somebody who just wasn't really good last year to start the season off. They were supposed to be good, but they weren't. So pretty much what I see in this game is that we have and it's funny, Jeff, everybody don't get mad at me. I didn't get Jeff's bets this week, but I'll write them down as we go. But where I'm going with this one is going to be with the Bills. I like the Bills a lot. I think that even with the 2.5, we can just take the 2.5, and we're good with that, because when you look at the line, you got a 135. You got the Bills favorite 135, Rams plus 115 at home, and that will go and tell some people like, oh, I gotta have them. You know what I mean? I gotta have the Rams, but I don't think that this is a Rams spot. I think that they have a hangover, and honestly, to keep it real with you. I know this is going to piss off a lot of Rams fans, but this is a team that kind of stole the Super Bowl at the same time, too. It's a bad taste in my mouth about this situation with them, because I've never seen a Super Bowl end like that, where you get 3 different pass interference calls. Come on, dude. You're not supposed to end a Super Bowl like that. I know that we're playing in Los Angeles, but at the same time, it wasn't like it was it's the Rams. It ain't like it was the Raiders or somebody a real relevance. The only reason why the Rams are relevant right now is because they're in Los Angeles. They were still in St. Louis, nobody cared. So I think this might be one of the cheapest championships ever because I said for an LA championship, I didn't celebrate with them like that. And I'm not a Rams fan, but you celebrate LA when they win. And I just couldn't do it, Jeff. I just couldn't do it. But what are your thoughts?
Well, I look at this game from a point of view where the Rams opened up 1.5 point favorites. It got immediately steamed where the world was jumping in on Buffalo. And then from there, Stafford's elbow started to become, quote unquote, a problem. And from there, it got up as high as 2.5. Now, if you ask the average person, what do they remember most about last year in the NFL? I bet you it's more 60-40, 65-35. They remember the last minute and a half in Buffalo, Kansas City versus, as you said, the Rams winning the Super Bowl. So I'm not buying the steam. I'm not buying the hype. You can play this game in our eyes two ways. You can buy the hook and take the Rams +3 -120, or take the Rams plus the 115 on the money line. Again, I love the Bills this year. I think this is probably one of the cheapest prices you will get them, even on the road, never mind at home. But I think it's going to be a Publix all in on Josh Allen and the Bills, and we're going to pump the brakes. Don't forget, for myself, for 2 decades, I always had this game in my backyard with Brady and the Patriots hosting as the Super Bowl champs. It will be an interesting feel. I just think it's going to be a great play. I think the Rams plus the 3 or plus the 115 gets it done, Pops.
Yeah, that's good value to open up the season. It's just that this is a hangover game, and I just feel like Buffalo is just going to be levels. It's going to be levels in this game, and I think that Buffalo is on another level. No Von Miller, no OBJ, all the guys that made them this superstar situation, and now you have Stafford after the success. Is he still hungry? That's my biggest question. And let's go ahead and we can move forward from there. But that's my biggest question, though, Jeff. At the end of the day, is what Matt Stafford is going to show up, because he's won a championship, and then he wakes up in the morning and he's not in Detroit anymore. So it happens. All right, let's get into our next game. Jets, Ravens. And this is going to be a -290 to the Ravens, and the Jets are going to be a +210. You have a Jets team that comes in here. You got a Jets team that comes in here literally, trying to get back from last season and everything like that. The Jets against the spread last year were 6-11. And the Ravens against the spread last year weren't much better, but still, the Ravens had a little bit of issue with Jackson not being healthy at the end. They were 8-9. So I look at this game and I say to myself, this is going to be the overbet. And overbet, by overbet, I mean that everybody is going to think that this is their shining moment to just pick the Ravens and look the other way. These are the worst games to think that way, because what's going to happen here is what's going to happen here, Jeff. The Jets are going to wind up having an outer body experience because they're going to be excited with the crowd. Lamar is going to kind of BS through the situation, play a little comfortable, and not play as aggressive as he usually does because he knows it's the Jets and he doesn't have to do that much. And then what happens here is that this is going to wind up being a very close game that's going to end in a field goal. I don't know who the winner is going to be, but I'm definitely going to take the Jets with the +7 here, Jeff.
This game, again, it's one of these that the line is not moving. Word on the street is Zach Wilson might play. I doubt he plays. This Baltimore -7 will be on the top of every teaser card, every money line parlay. There's a handful of those today. It's a real tough read. I remember a handful of years ago, Ravens traveled into Miami and Lamar and company put up a 50 burger. I like the Jets in a bounce back spot this year. I think they're going to be more competitive. Again, if it's Joe Flacco, do they just try to run the ball? Yeah, I'm mixed. I'm torn here. I just bought the hook here, Pops. I took the Ravens -6.5, -120. It's an under over of 44.5. So if the Ravens can get into that honey hole in that 27-28 spot, I think they can keep to the Jets to 17 or less. So, I got this game at like a 27-17, somewhere in that area. So we're going to hope that the Ravens win by 7 or more by buying the hook here, Pops.
All right, and as you guys see it, Jeff got the 6.5 with the Ravens by the hook. You guys just got to give me a second. I'm typing in the plays as we go. So there it is. There it is with that one. Let's go ahead and move forward.
They are on your phone, Pops. I did text them to you last night, by the way, LOL.
Oh, okay. Man, I had text coming in real late last night, but I was trying to sleep. So it happens.
All good.
I'm over here, like I keep telling everybody, I'm over here acting like a 60-year-old right now. Ain't nothing wrong with that, y'all. Ain't nothing wrong with that, y'all. All right. And now we got the Falcons and the Saints, Jeff. This one should be a fun one. We have the Saints coming here -220. You got the Falcons +180. This is the oldest rivalry in the South when it comes to football teams. I mean, NFL professional teams and everything like that. These guys are literally cousins at the same, because they they literally held hands and walked into the league together. So this was always going to be a rivalry. And the funniest part about the New Orleans Saints and the Falcons is that they spent 25, 30 years as the opponents for the Rams and the 49ers. What were you thinking, NFL, when you had this team coming all the way from the Southwest? Is it one from the Southeast, one from the Southwest, and you guys literally had them playing against you put them at such a disadvantage, Jeff. I'm sorry. Because, it never seemed like the Saints and Falcons won when they came to California, either one of them. But it always seemed like the Rams and 49ers would have some of their best games ever against these teams. When it was a 4-team division, I rarely remember. Atlanta was good because they had a good little fun team with Dion. And then New Orleans was cool because they had the whole "we suck, but we still love our team" mantra, right? And the Rams was bad because they was in Anaheim, and the Niners are just the Niners. You know what I mean? The parade All-Americans. So now I got to talk about a football game. I'm going to be very, very honest here, Jeff. It's going to be like this. It's going to be just like this. The Saints are going to put a beat down on this team. This is going to be the return of Jameis Winston. And Jameis Winston is going to have the opportunity to go ahead and right those wrongs from last season and from, pretty much and go ahead and silence the haters, because people did not understand why. If people still don't understand why Drew Brees retired, because a guy by the name of Jameis Winston was put in position to be the starting quarterback for the team. And who was one of the biggest killers of the Falcons? Jameis Winston. So I'm going with the Falcons with the -5. I'm going with the Saints -5.5. I'm not even looking back on this one. I think they have themselves a game. They win by 10 or better, Jeff.
You know what? I'm in complete opposite on this game, and I'll tell you why. I haven't heard one person on the street mention the word Falcons. Not one. The opening number was 4. It went to 4.5 immediately, 5, 5.5. Now we're at around 6. No one is also looking ahead where the Saints host the Bucs next week, and Tommy B12 or whatever you want to call Tommy. Just call him. Don't be late to the vacation and his family woes or whatever. Father Tom, I should say. But here we looked at them. If you bought the hook, you got the Falcons +6. But I'm going to say something right here, and I know you always have your dog of the day here, and I've looked at this board for the past 2 months. Don't sleep on the Falcons here. I know they're not supposed to be a good team. It's Marcus Mariota. It's Kyle Pitts. They bring in Drake London, Cordarrelle Patterson, Algier in the backfield. No one's talking. I know Matty Ryan has moved on to Indy. So for us here, we bought the hook. We took the Falcons to +6. Hey, they lose, they get blown out. God bless you. But I said, sprinkle a little beer and pizza money on the +180 here. Again, I'm in Vegas as we speak. Not one word about the Falcons. It's all who dat, who dat, who dat. Well, on Sunday night, you're going to be saying, who dat? We lost. So, LOL. So I think Falcons are in a prime spot here, but we'll see what happens, Pops.
Jeff, you know what? You got a good point with that because I've been in Vegas plenty of times. Let me give you a great example. I was there last year. And when I was there last year, what happened was that we were leaving on a Monday. And Jeff, I think I had just seen, I saw you before I left. You were out there too that weekend. So pretty much, because you came over Saturday and we hung out and everything. Stanford whooped up on USC. I won some good money on that bet. Yeah. So you remember what I told you. I said, I got to before we were leaving, going back to LA, I said, and we had to come see you. I said, Jeff, there's a lot of Ravens fans there. So that makes me want to double down on the Raiders. The Raiders were a +165 that night. And it was literally their first big Monday Night Football opening game. And Vegas is excited. And pretty much gave them the storybook ending and everything like that. And Disney couldn't have wrote up a better script. Because it's just you have to understand how Vegas works. And Vegas the Raiders have become a little more magical since they went to Vegas. So that's why it's like when we got 100% of the people on one side, be ready for the other side to win. It just always is going to work out like that. So I respect that. I respect that immensely. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this Patriots Dolphins game real quick before we go to our break. We're running a little over. So, all right. So as you can see, we got week 1, Pats and Dolphins. And I think that what we have here is the come down of the Patriots in a sense, because the Patriots ain't the Patriots anymore, Jeff. You know what I mean? Well, they're still the Patriots, but they're the Patriots that Jeff knows very well. You know what I mean? The real Patriots. You know what I mean? The guys that, not the ultimate Patriots, the just good old guys that keep us entertained on Sundays in the northeast portion of the country. You know what I mean? And so the Dolphins have the Dolphins are kind of back in business now when you think about their situation with this team. So, all in all, I think that this one does come down to the Dolphins being the winner of this game. The Dolphins, I think they've won the last, 4 in a row, Jeff?
Two is 3-0 against Bill right now.
Yep, 3-0, Tua. And you know what? When you think about it now, Tua would have been the perfect quarterback for Billy B, because he's a saving guy. He knows how to listen. He knows how to go about things. But they went and got Mac Jones. And I told everybody that Mac Jones is just a little bit better than Greg McElroy, okay? Took advantage. You're taking advantage of great talent, okay? You're not that good, all right? You're okay. You're good at listening. You're good at listening. You're good at following rules. You know what I mean? And Belichick needs a guy that really knows how to be like, okay, Bill, I heard you, but then I'm going to do something else. You know what I mean? Like Tom. You know what I mean? Not I'm going to do something else. I'm going to do what you told me to do, but I'm going to do it the way that I feel more comfortable doing it. You know what I mean? And I think that him being such a robot is really plaguing the process, the progress in the moving forward for the Patriots. The Patriots, I don't see anything but the Patriots going backwards now, Jeff. That's it. And I think that, honestly, I hate to talk like this early in the season, but I think we're looking at Belichick's last season in at least in New England, if not for his career.
Well, it hasn't been a good offseason. Unfortunately, what they decided to do is obviously Josh McDaniels moves on to Vegas. They bring in 2 coaches that are getting paid by other teams with Matt Patricia and Joe Judge. They don't really have an offensive coordinator. They don't really have a quarterbacks coach, which doesn't bode well for a second year with Mac. It's been they've looked horrendous in practice. They've looked horrendous in preseason, yet this line opened at 2.5 and is now 3. The Patriots have never boded well in September, going to South Beach in the heat. As much as I said no one's talking about the Falcons, no one's talking about the Pats here. I'd respect, honestly, the Dolphins -5 versus 2.5 or 3. I'm going to follow your lead here. I'm going to take the Dolphins minus the 160 and get out of Dodge. Maybe it's a late second field goal. I would be surprised if the Dolphins blew them out. We know the Patriots always start slow, and Vegas is coy to this. Again, everyone's on the Dolphins. I hope that, we don't sync with Tua. I just know defensively that there is no way in holy hell that the Patriots have the speed to cover Hill and Waddle in the same position, one to the left, one to the right. So I'm going to be very, very interested there. Give me the Dolphins money line and we'll move on, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. And you heard him. We're going to move on. And when we do come back, we do have some more games coming up for you. We're probably going to speed it up just a little bit, but it's all good. When we get back, though, we will be talking some more football, because now we're about to get to the meat and potatoes of the schedule, Jeff. You know what I mean? Where you make the money at, where it gets a little tricky, all right? This is the NFL Bet Exchange with your host, the one and only Pop DiBiase, and my co-host, the Don of Cape Cod himself, Jeff Dawson. And we'll be right back to you in about 45 seconds.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll Have Another, and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we are back, and let's go ahead and jump into our next game, which is going to be a doozy. This is going to be the Browns and the Panthers, and it's so funny how we set this thing up. It's like the NFL, you really got a script to follow by, huh? Baker gets traded to the Panthers. Oh, guess who the Browns play first? The Panthers. And guess what he says on the sideline? Baker in Baker form. Oh, I didn't say that. And then, yeah, you did say that. I'm going to F them up when I see them week 1. I know Myles Garrett is Clowney still there too. I know those guys are looking at each other and like, oh, he ain't got that red jersey on today. I'm telling you right now, that one right there is the reason why Baker Mayfield's not a Brown anymore. But one thing Baker Mayfield did do was try to conduce a winning culture in Cleveland. They have to give him that credit enough that he wanted to win, and they did win. And yeah, he wasn't the golden arm or anything like that, but his leadership and his management skills inspired that team. But I think but when you look more and more at that team that did make it to the playoffs and the team that was supposed to be a big contender last year, it's always about Myles Garrett. It begins and ends with Myles Garrett. I think Myles Garrett is the motivation, the inspiration of that team. That's why they just keep going, because that was almost the same mentality that they had with Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas was the de facto best player on the team for 10 years, okay? And 15 years at that. And now you got Myles Garrett, who's a superstar, not an offensive lineman. So the way he approaches the game is very contagious, as I can see with the Browns. And this team is going to be probably the best team that Stefanski's put on the field, even without Deshaun Watson, because they got the plan down, and most of those players are still there from 3 years ago, the guys that got drafted to be there. So that's what makes this Browns team really dangerous, and that's what makes me be like, this plus 120 ain't nothing but a thing. I'll go ahead and take it because that's some money right there, baby. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that plus 120, and I think that we can go ahead and walk that to the window and cash that ticket. They're giving us easy value. I will guarantee you this, Jeff. It will be at minus 105 by the time we get the kickoff.
I like where your eyes are here. Again, it's more of a Hollywood script. In comes Baker, and basically just happens to be facing the Browns. Matt Rule has already lost the locker room. There were 6 fights when they came to Foxborough for their preseason workouts before the game. I got him as the first coach being fired. Yeah, it'll probably be mid-season as well. I think it's a great spot for the Browns. Everyone's buying the sizzle. I'll take the stake here. I took the 2 points kind of in no man's land. I can definitely see the Browns winning. If they happen to lose by 1 or 2, get a push. But we'll take the Browns plus 2 as well, Pops.
It's just, I just think, we know they have the better coach. And sometimes the odds makers don't put that into the odds. They don't put in who's the better coach. You know what I mean? And a lot of times I've been able to hit a plus 240 because I know that coach is not going to be able to coach this team up well enough to beat this coach today, because this coach has put his game plan to the point to where he's not going to get beat today. And because he's a way better coach. And even if he has a 20% off on his game plan, he can still beat this coach. And that's what I'm looking at. I'm more going off the matchup of coaches. And I think Stefanowski just is levels ahead of whatever Rule's doing. Because Rule's first mistake was not getting a franchise quarterback. It's that simple. But he's a company man. He's listening to what the front office is saying. He's not going by what he wants to do. He's going by what they want to do. And that's why, at the end of the day, coach going to get all the blame, but this is him doing what he's been told at the end of the day as well, too. And I told people this off top. Matt Rule had no business running to the NFL this quickly. He had just established himself at Baylor, and all of a sudden he has to be a $60 million coach. No. Just play the state of Texas against themselves. That's all you do. Just be in the state of Texas as long as you can. If you're winning, they're going to keep paying you, buddy. So that's how it goes, because they are crazy. We think we're crazy about football. That whole state is crazy about football, Jeff. All right. Steelers, Bengals. This one is I love how the Bengals feel like their rivalry is on the same level as the Browns and Steelers rivalry. It's like, no. The Browns and Steelers, those are the Hatfields and McCoys. This is more like, okay, my little brother that stays in the mansion, and the Browns are the brother that still stays in the rural home that dad built. And what you call it, you guys are kind of like, spoiled brats compared to the Browns Steelers rivalry. You guys kind of just walked your way into it. So, I look at this one and I say to myself, I love the fact Mitch Trubisky's back. You know what I mean? I love the fact that he's been given the opportunity to continue his career as a starter in the NFL. And yeah, I know a lot of people say, well, he's just holding the spot for Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett is Tommy Maddox, okay? When he got drafted by the Denver Broncos. They just got a quarterback in the first round to appease fans. And you knew they did that because he went to Pittsburgh, and it would look good, right, Jeff? It would look good. But they really weren't confident in picking him. And you knew that, and we all know that. We just didn't want to embarrass the quarterbacks this year. He was the only quarterback that went in the first round. That's how tough the quarterback position is in the NFL nowadays. We got 32 guys that are capable of leading their team every Sunday right now, starting. Name a starter that don't belong being a starter. You know what I mean? Except for the kid in Houston. You know what the kid in Houston is doing? Because they're working their way into their next big quarterback. You know what I mean? So when I look at this one, Trubisky puts points on the board, Jeff, because he's mobile. You know what I mean? He moves. And he'll be able to get some things done because he got better weapons in Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? He's not Big Ben, but he's more athletic. And then Najee Harris is going to be such an X factor in this game. He's going to give the Bengals fits in this spot. I don't say the Steelers win this one, but this is going to be a good old knock them down, slug them out, AFC North Pittsburgh versus Cincinnati matchup, and best man wins at the end. But I know Cincinnati's another team that a lot of people are going to be, oh, Cincinnati, Bengals, 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 Bengals. You'll see that all Sunday night, all Sunday morning at the Westgate or Circa, Bengals, Bengals, Bengals. They Bengals, Bengals. And I'm gonna tell you like this: they all gonna get their feelings hurt because the only bet you should be taking on the Bengals is overspending on the insurance and taking that minus 240. Other than that, Steelers in the spread seem like the best bet in that spot. Jeff, your thoughts?
I am high on the Steelers this year. I think it's a great division. I expect the Bengals for some regression. As you know, Pops, here last year on the show, I was Big Joe here. I told you to watch out for this team. Did I expect them to get to the Super Bowl? Hell no. But they managed to get there. They've worked their O-line's actually a little better this year. They have a dynamic duo with Chase and Higgins. They got a great running back with Mixon, one of the best kickers in the land as well. Now, with all that said, I like the Trubisky ad. I think, though, the rumor is they play the first 3 weeks. Game 3 is a Thursday night against the Bengals. Then they'll give them an extra 3 days if they want to move the kid in week 4. I look at the opening line, Pops, and it smells to me. Though the Steelers went into Buffalo 6.5-point underdogs and beat them outright. I don't expect that to happen this way. I reluctantly bought the hook. I took the Bengals minus the 6 here. Maybe they win by 7, but I think it'll be a competitive game. The number smells to me, though. I think they're trying to entice Steeler money here. We'll take Joe minus 6 and hope that they win by 7 or more.
All right. And you know what? I had the feeling Jeff was going to go with his guy, Joe Burrow. Jeff. But you know what? Me and Jeff, we usually do the preview show of over under wins, and me and Jeff both agreed last year that Cincinnati was going to be a far better team than they were the prior year when Burrow went out, because they were actually getting it together. Then Burrow knee got destroyed, and then at the end of the year they went off the last 3 games of the season. They were one of the better teams ending the season. So we both felt it coming, but they did go above and beyond expectations, because what made the Bengals really good last year was they were in a division where anybody could have won it. Everybody was at the end line. That was like what we call in horse racing a blanket finish, where you can't call out the winner, where all 4 horses pop up at the same time. You know what I mean? At the finish line. And that's exactly how that race went. That's why the Bengals were able to get through the playoffs and do what they did in the playoffs, because they had a gritty season to get there. And they were one of the better teams, but they had three other teams that were considered some of the better teams in the league. So it is what it is at the end of the day. And I think that the biggest win that they had was the win that they had over the Steelers, to be exact. So let's go ahead and jump into our next one. This is going to be a good one. And we'll be quick with this one because it's the Niners and the Bears. And so pretty much what I like here is that this is another one where I say to myself, okay, and this isn't right. Let me go ahead and twist this, because everybody and their mama knows that the Bears are not the favorite here, okay, at all. The Bears are nowhere near being the favorite in this spot. They're getting a +7. You know what? I want to take San Francisco badly today, Jeff, but I just can't. That's the whole thing. I just can't do it. Reason being is because I feel like Justin Fields is going to have a game that nobody expects him to have, where it's going to be really good. And I think that they're going to keep things intact in this spot. You know what I mean? I think that they're going to be able to find themselves in a key position to win this game. So I think that they don't get a big monster upset, but they are able to get themselves a nice, fun win here, in my opinion. So what are your thoughts?
It's a game, again, I don't think Vegas can set the number high enough to attract Bears money. I mean, don't forget, this is Trey Lance starting an over of just 41. So they're telling you that they really don't expect the Bears to score more than 17 points. I think it smells as well. We bought the hook here and took the Bears plus the 7.5. I don't like it. I don't at all. I mean, I think the Niners are the team to beat again out west. Them and the Rams will be duking this one out all year. I reluctantly took the Bears plus the 7.5. Could I see them getting blown out 100%? I mean, Fields is going to have to win the turnover battle. They're going to have to put pressure on Lance. Vegas is making a big statement here and expect 49ers to roll, Pops.
Man, Jeff, I'm telling you right now, that will be something spectacular if they're able to pull that off. But man, I'm telling you right now, this is something that I tell myself all the time is that, this reminds me a lot of the game we played last year when they opened up against Detroit and they weren't able to they weren't able to get away from Detroit in that game. You know what I mean? Because all of us had this idea, okay, we're cool. Niners are going to cover. And then next thing you know, they just won't go away. And so pretty much what happens in that spot is that, can we trust the Niners with the spread? And I say no. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and take it the way I'm going to take it with this one right here, Jeff. So I think that we are on to something here, brother. And there it is with that, with the Niners and the Bears. Jeff, guys, we both are on the same side with this one. So let's go ahead and move forward to our next game, which is going to be a good one as well, too. This is going to be between the Eagles and the Lions. I just talked about the Lions. And it's funny because I was trying to watch the last few episodes of Hard Knocks last night, and I thought Hard Knocks was good the first episode, but then you saw the second episode, and it's just like, wow, these players that are coaching these guys were so like good at one point in their career, and then they were so bad at points of their career. And I just thought that Deuce Staley was literally overcoaching the unit. Like, I literally thought Deuce Staley was trying to get himself his own TV show at times. Jeff, did you watch the Hard Knocks?
I only saw bits and pieces. I didn't see a lot of it.
I didn't like the way he was coaching his running backs, Jeff. It was like, you could have did. Look, the guy scores a touchdown, Jeff, right? But he's still talking about a play 8 plays ago. He said, but you could have hit that move and went to the touchdown. I said, stop talking to him like he's an 8-year-old. This is where we get this is why teams like Detroit stay bad. This is why they don't get good. Right, Jeff?
That's right.
Because you got grown men talking to grown men like they're children. And that's the cardinal sin in the NFL. So since I don't trust Detroit, but I don't trust anybody to ever cover against Detroit, because I don't know why, Jeff. Nobody likes to cover against these guys. So I'm going to have to be a little expensive here, and I'm going to have to take the Eagles with the insurance with the minus 195. Jeff, you know me. I dread doing stuff like this. That's not my cup of tea right there. But I said to myself, okay, 2-1 go make my dollar, then 2-1 go make my dollar. I just want to cash a ticket. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. I can't trust them with a 4. But Jalen Hurts might be able to get us home, though. That's the whole thing. But I'll just take the money line. So I'm just – if you want to take anything that's locked in, I would say this right here. Maybe.
I just – it's a game where I think the Lions – I say this every year, but I really respect where they're going. Don't forget last year – this team could have folded. They could not win a game. I mean, they were just stumbling and bumbling, but they didn't give up. They fought to the end. And this team was just, how many games did they lose in the final minute? How many games did they lose by a possession or less? I like their offense this year. Jameis Williams is ahead of schedule. Whether he'll be ready, I don't know. But again, they have DeAndre Swift. They have Chark. They have Hawkinson. Goff is serviceable. It's what the defense will give you. Vegas is giving you a little hint here of a 49.5 under over. They're expecting points to be scored, 27-23, maybe somewhere in that kind of hits that 50 number. And on the 4, we took the Lions plus the 4. Expect big things from Jalen Hurts. Expect big things from the running game. Expect big things from A.J. Brown. Their tight end, Goddard. Expect big things from the second-year Devontae Smith. It's going to be one of the funner games to watch, even though it is Detroit. I'll definitely be watching them when I get back home to Boston. But we took the Lions plus the 4. We're going to enjoy this one. This should be a shootout, Pups.
All right. I like what I'm hearing here. All right, so what we're going to do with that is this. We're going to go ahead and take us another quick commercial break. And Jeff is taking a plus 4 on the Lions. The Lions just be money burner. But you know what? The last 8 weeks of the season, They were the squad. They went. I think they were 7-1, to be honest, with 6-2, something like that. Last 8 games of the year, because you got to count the tie. The tie, they won on the spread that day, so you got to count. They won that game for bettors. They didn't win that game for people who were Lions fans, but they won that game for me that day. All right, so we'll be back. This is the NFL Bet Exchange with Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and the Don and Cape Cod, Jeff Dawson, and we'll be right back to you.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, so we are back, and let's go ahead and jump into our next game. And hey, we got the Colts and the Texans, and pretty much we have Matt Ryan in his new location with the Indianapolis Colts, and it seems like the Colts are going with the old adage. I'm trying to remember what team just kept taking all the old veteran quarterbacks at the end, and we're still like that, and that would be like because they've had Rivers, who was on his last leg. They had Wentz, who had to have a show and prove type season where, are you really good, or did we just have a good 9 games before you tore your knee up? And now you have Matt Ryan, who has been literally Mr. Third and short his last 5 years, can't get it in. Mr. Blow the Super Bowl 28-3, but he does bring the game manager feel to this Colts team. The Colts are going to win a lot of games because he's a good player. He's a great game manager, and they're going to rely on the run a lot. We know this, but I think that they're going to run into a little bit of some issues here with the Texans team that nobody's going to take seriously all season, but they're going to be that team that winds up covering for us every time that they're a plus 8.5 or better, in my opinion. That's why it's not going to be tough to take them on Sunday, because Brandon Cooks is probably the most underrated receiver in the league. If he played for a way better team, he would have way better. He had way more attention. But we all know who led the league in rack last year, and it was Mr. Brandon Cooks. And Brandon Cooks was getting 8-9 catches a game as well too. So when I saw him on the fantasy draft board still there, I knew I had to take him, Jeff, because I think he was a part of my group where it was part of my 2 quick back-to-back picks. You know what I mean? When I had my 10th and then I got into the next round, I had to get him. I could not pass him up. I'm still mad though. I had Derek Carr last night. Somebody took him right before me. I had to settle for Kirk Cousins. Not starters though. But plus 8.5 to the Texans. Jeff, what are your thoughts?
Again, another game that really smells to holy heaven. I reluctantly bought the hook and took the Colts -8. You look at that number of over 47. It's got 27-20 written all over it, so all Colt tickets would go down in flames. I reluctantly took it. Listen, Ryan is a great manager, 20-20. Get him inside the red zone. He has always faltered. You talked about their offense. One of the best running backs in the game with Jonathan Taylor. Michael Pittman, look out for him for a breakout this year. Look what Matt Ryan has done in his history with number 1 wide receivers. Pittman should have a huge year. On the other side, you talked about Brandon Cooks. Well, one of my breakout players in fantasy this year is on the other side. That's Nico Collins. I think Nico has a huge layer there. The quarterback from Stanford, I love him. No one talks about him, Mr. Mills. I think he will there'll be a lot of high-scoring games because of their defense. They're bringing on a rookie, Damian Pierce, to lead the running attack with Rex Burkhead as a backup. I think this will be a fun game. I think it will be a lot closer than people think. Reluctantly took the Colts, bought the hook -8. But again, Pops, I could see this landing 27-20 all day.
And that's what I'm looking at as well, too, Jeff. And, the Colts have always had a lot of issues going down in Houston, even with Peyton. But one thing about the Colts was they did run. I think they beat them the first 10 years when Peyton was there. I don't think Peyton ever lost to the Texans, to be honest with you. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. We have ourselves the Jaguars and the Commanders for the first time. The Washington Commanders going against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, Jacksonville, you went through the Urban Meyer era, and you guys survived. You survived it. You know what I mean? You did a good job. Trevor Lawrence, much improved from last year, and everybody has that Peyton Manning cap put onto this kid. And then you got Travis Etienne Jr. coming back as well. Now, Washington, I wanted to take Washington, but Jeff, I saw who the quarterback is, Carson Wentz, and I saw where Carson Wentz finished at. And that was that final game in Jacksonville that cost him a playoff spot. And I think that can live in your head forever. So Jacksonville sees a guy again that they took full advantage of and whooped up on. And there's no Chase Young on the other side until November. So I'm sorry, but the Commanders are a bad favorite. And that's why I'm going to go ahead and circle the Jags as the good news only dog bet of the week. And that's going to be the plus 145 on the Jags will be our dog bet of the week this week. And that's where I'm going with that one. Jeff, your thoughts?
I took the Jags plus the 3.5. We bought the hook. But again, looking at the numbers, Vegas is really trying to set a number where they can attract both sides here. I mean, how many people are going to run to the window to take the Commanders as a favorite? Their starting rookie, running back Brian Robinson, was shot. He'll be out for a while. He threw Antonio Gibson under the bus, so he'll be back there with J.D. McKissick. Big fan of Terry McLaurin. Again, you had mentioned no Chase Young. You flip it over to the Jags, no Urban Meyer, thank God. You got a Trevor Lawrence, a healthy Travis Etienne. They bring in Christian Kirk. They bring in Evan Ingram. Offensively, they should be a lot better. It's what you're going to get from the defensive side. I'm hoping it's a close game. I took the Jags plus the 3.5. We bought the hook. Again, Trevor got to win that turnover battle. Don't turn the ball over. Take your shots when you got them, but also be smart with the ball. Rely on a healthy ETN, and you should come away with at least a cover, if not a potential upset win.
I like it, Jeff. I like it. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. And let's go ahead and jump into this pool right here. And that's going to be with the Cards and the Chiefs. This is going to kick off the afternoon games as well, too. So when I look at this one, I tell myself that this one is going to probably wind up being our game of the day. And this game reminds me a lot of the game that opened up last season and in late in the afternoon, Browns versus the Chiefs, which was a hell of a game. And the Browns, when you look at it, the Browns, how did you lose that game? You know what I mean? So pretty much you see Kansas City here. Kansas City coming in favored as usual, minus 205. Cards are plus 165. And there's Cards are plus 4.5 at home as well, too. You know what? I really, really like the way the Cardinals kind of were quiet this summer. The only story they really had was Kyler having his little issue and everything like that with the books and everything. But other than that, this team is just kind of went about their business this summer. And I think that the way that they've started the last few seasons as a team should kind of give us a good idea that this team is going to be hot to start the year off. And Kansas City, if you want to play anybody, it wasn't them, okay? And I think that what happens here is I'm not going to say that the Cardinals win. I know Jeff's going to be like, well, I know why you're saying this because you and your Mahomes hate. But look, there ain't no Mahomes hate here. It's a tough game for him. I'm not saying they lose, but I'm not going to sit up in here and say they cover the 4.5. So I'm going to take the Cardinals with the plus 4.5, Jeff. Your thoughts?
Well, I was a big Murray fan. Last year we had the Murray to Hopkins hookup, and then they both got hurt, and then Hopkins kind of played the diva role, and we saw Murray kind of slow down as this progressed. You know about the Chiefs, you know about Mahomes, no Tyreek Hill. They bring in Juju. They're working on a backfield. Pacheco is the slice of the day in fantasy world, but they still got CEH. I think Arizona takes a step back this year, as I would like to say to you. I haven't seen a lot of Mahomes commercials in the offseason. Believe it or not, you look at this, and the Chiefs are 4.5-point favorites. And, this is in Arizona, so you know where Vegas is making a stance. Everyone's expecting a shootout. I expect the KC defense actually to kind of shine here, and I expect KC to win. I think the 4.5, I see them winning in that 7-10 range. Going to be a fun game. Excited to see who's his binky now with Hill out of the equation, but I think Chiefs roll here, Pops.
All right. So Jeff got the Chiefs rolling here. We'll see how this one goes, Jeff, because I just think it's going to be one of our better games of the day. That's what I can say. Is at the end of the day, it will be one of our better games, and I think that's something that we both can agree on, is that this will be one of the better games of the day, Sunday. So I look forward to it as well, too. I know it's going to be on CBS as well. All right, so we're not going to take a commercial break because we're running kind of behind on time. And so pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the Raiders and the Chargers. And the Raiders and the Chargers might be the most, I would say, have the most theater to it because of what happened at the end of the season last year. And this is really like, I really would have thought that they would have maybe made this line a little bit shorter because they're trusting the Chargers, a team that has not won an opening day game in like 5 years. Think about that, Jeff. They've laid eggs literally at home since they got to LA. I can't really remember them winning an opening home game in Los Angeles. Now, San Diego, yeah, but not in LA, okay? It seems like they get jitters. They got a lot of hype to them. When I saw the Chargers at 10-1 and they didn't make the playoffs last year, I said, okay, dude. I know they got Khalil Mack, but Khalil Mack's coming off of a really intense toe-foot situation that possibly could be the end of his career. You know what I mean? Because this is a show and prove for Khalil Mack. The Bears literally gave up on him because they were paying him too much to be hurt. So I think that at the end of the day, once again, they have overhyped the Chargers, and the Chargers are going to really have to prove themselves once again. And I'm going to take the Raiders to keep this thing close. I'm not saying the Raiders win, even though I do feel like they will win, and I will probably put them in my dog day pick for Sunday as well, too. But I'm taking them with the plus 3.5 with the hook. Jeff, your thoughts?
You know me, I'm from New England, and listen, I'm not buying the sizzle on the Josh McDaniels and the Devontae Adams move. I think Carr's got plenty of weapons now with Carr, with Renfro. I'm sorry, with Adams, with Renfro, with Waller, Josh Jacobs in the backfield, and that running gun offense. You know how you beat Carr, and that's by putting pressure on him. And now you got the return of the Mac. You got Mr. Boza. I think that this Chargers team is set here. The under-over is set at 52 for a reason. Could I see the Raiders leading late? Sure, 24-21. Could I see a let's just say we'll give you a Williams touchdown late or a Keenan Allen from Mr. Herbert, 28-24. We bought the hook. We got the Chargers minus the 2.5. I think it's going to be a fun game. Exciting, a divisional matchup to start. There will be no ties here. We got the Chargers eking one out here, 28-24, Pops.
I like it. All right, so that's where we're going with that one. And Raiders, Chargers, SoFi. I'm still over here trying to get my tickets for Sunday as well, too. It won't be 100 degrees on Sunday, so I definitely want to go. But I might have to go to the gym real quick and get a couple mid sessions in for what I mean, because I'm gonna tell you like this: anybody going to the Raider Chargers game Sunday, be ready to fight somebody if you want to get too reckless with your mouth, because I'm telling you right now, if that is fist fight city right there, boy. I can't. It's gonna be Jeff. I'm telling you right now. Be ready for viral moments at that game. Raider fans have been seething to kick somebody, to kick another fan's, a rival team's fans' ass, like the last few months. I've been seeing it too. When they was walloping on each other the other day, a little bit too much. So I think they need a Charger fan to deal with. But we'll see though, Jeff. And let me make sure I display your side of it as well too. Jeff is going 2.5 there. All right, so let's go ahead and move on, and let's talk about Packers and Vikings. Packers, Vikings. Jeff, this is going to be, to me, just like last year, it's going to be a game where you toss it up and you really don't know where you're going to go with this one. So I think what we do here is we just say, you know what, let's just go ahead and just keep it honest, man. I like the I'm going to just go ahead and do it here, man. I'm going to go ahead and take the Packers with the minus 120. I think that they'll be good to go, and I think that they should show up and have an excellent game, to be honest with you, Jeff. I think that, Aaron Rodgers is very relaxed coming into the season, and that's good to see. You know what I mean? He doesn't seem tense about winning a Super Bowl. So, he just wants to perform and make all that good. What is it, $50 million? Hey, $50 million? Yeah, cool. Super Bowl, so what? I already got one of those. But
I can't figure this game out, why the Packers are favored by 1. I've been waiting for regression on the Packers forever. No Devontae Adams. They're his number 1 receiver now, a little nicked up. And I think the backs are going to lead the receiving core with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. I got A.J. Dillon everywhere. I'm expecting a big season from him. I took the Vikings plus the 1. I'm probably going to have egg on my face as they'll be leading late. And then, in comes Rodgers, and he finds a way to get a late second field goal to eke out a win. Vegas making a statement here with the Packers, a 1-point favorite. We'll take the home dog. I like Minnesota this year. I've been on record to say that I think Kirk Cousins is sneaky MVP candidate with the fact that he has the number 1, I think, receiver in the game with Justin Jefferson. And you still got Dalvin Cook, who's healthy. Their defense is going to be better this year. New head coach, new OC who loves to push the ball. We should have some fun in this one. I like the dog here. Let's take Kirk Cousins. We back, baby. To find a way to win.
All right. So let's talk Giants Titans. And Jeff, I'm gonna be real quick here. Last time I saw the Titans host the afternoon game. Well, it's afternoon for me, early evening for you. So anytime I've seen them host a game past 4 o'clock Eastern time, it's been really, really ugly for the opposition because it's always at home. And last time they played opening day in this spot, I think it was maybe about 7-8 years ago, and we had the debut of Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston. I know you remember that game too, because they were a big dog, and they were my dog bet of the week and my big bet of the week, and the Titans beat them 42-14. So, I know the Giants feel like they got this new thing going on with Coach DeBall and all this good, goofy stuff, but they're not going anywhere until they go get a quarterback. So I'm easily going to take the Titans, who are 5.5 in this spot, and I think the Titans are going to win this game by 2 touchdowns or better, Jeff, and I'm just going to end it with that. Your thoughts?
This one smells to holy heaven. I think that Titans regress here, but with that said, I'm going to buy the hook. I took the Giants plus the 6. I think it's a public trendy dog. The Titans, as you said, a late afternoon home. Malik Willis has looked fabulous in preseason. We know what Tannehill looked in his last home game performance in versus the Bengals there. King Henry is healthy. They let A.J. Brown go. They got a new rookie wide receiver, Treylon Burks, who should have a good season. But I took the dog here. I think it's a trap, but we're going to see what happens here. They're going to have to win the turnover battle. They're going to have to establish Barkley. Their wide receiving core right now, Kadarius Toney, Golladay, has struggled in the preseason. We'll see what happens. We'll know early in this game, Pops, which side is the right side.
All right, so Jeff is going with the +6 on the Giants. All right, so let's go ahead, move on, and let's get into this Bucs Cowboys game, the Sunday night football game. You got a Cowboys, you got a Bucs team that's coming in here -125, Cowboys +105. Brady's been off most of the summer, so I don't know why this is becoming like, okay, we have to make this why they're still the favorite. And I don't think that Brady's had enough time to really prepare with the new regime of the Buccaneers, because I know it seems like they still got the same guys, but it's still a new coach. You know what I mean? And I feel like it would be a lot more respect for Bowles if you would have just been there. You know what I mean? Because you did that for the other coach. So you got to be there for, Bowles as well, too, because I feel like Bowles was always pretty much the head coach. They had Arians in place because Arians is a good, is a good little, I wouldn't say a good company, man, but I would say that, he's good at making players do what he wants them to do. So pretty much I like the Cowboys here. I think and I know I'm just doing too much, but I do like the Cowboys here. And I think the Cowboys can win this game on Sunday night and get revenge for what happened last year, because they should have won that game last season, but the defense was just way too tired at the end of that game.
Yeah, again, I don't buy – Vegas is being real coy here. I talked about the Thursday night game with the Bills getting steamed and Vegas making a point here of Tom being a favorite. I talked about that Atlanta Saints game next week. The Bucs travel to the Saints. So I'm looking at both weeks here. I have followed your lead here. I took the Cowboys here. I don't know why the Bucs are the favorite. I really would respect it more if the Cowboys were the favorite here, but Vegas knows what kind of money they'd get in Tom as an underdog on primetime. So I made our claim here with the Cowboys plus the 105 in the money line. I'm expecting a good competitive game here. What worries me is, we have Brady Tinker on weekly on our shows as well from Dallas. Their O-line is struggling right now. So if they can't establish Zeke or Pollard and Dak doesn't have time, we know the Bucs can put pressure on the QB here. It's going to be a long day for Dak and company, but give me the boys plus 105 in the money line to win this game outright.
All right. All right, so Jeff got to plus 105, and let's go ahead and get to our final game. We went a little over, but it's okay. We still kind of in time, because we've had episodes where it went. We have one episode we did with 3 hours.
Yes.
Yeah. So we got Monday Night Football, and this is probably the only game where I'm taking a high favorite in this spot, because I just really do feel like what happens here is that you have a team in place in the Broncos set up to not lose this game, Jeff. They're just not going to lose. That's the whole thing. Seattle's at the point now where if they're in a real rebuilding phase, and this is the first time they've really thought about rebuilding in the last 20 years, even Holmgren era. You know what I mean? So, people have to understand it was a big separation with cutting ties with Russell Wilson, because he kept a lot of things intact for this team. He kept this team very exciting. It's gonna be a while before before Seattle's a prominent team again, in my opinion. And I think that this is probably gonna be Pete Carroll's swan song season as well too. And so I really do like the 6.5 on the Broncos here, because I think Russell's going to come up in here and say, whose house or Russ' house? So that's where I'm going, Jeff. Your thoughts?
I bought the hook. I took the Broncos -6. I'm going to tell you this, though. This line opened up around 3.5, 4. Again, a Hollywood setting. Russ returns Monday night, single game out there. The whole world is on the Broncos here. This will be at least 7 by kickoff. In comes a quarterback that you and I both know a lot about for Seattle that, again, we're just looking at this and be just like shaking our head. They got 2 legit wide receivers with Tyler Lockett, with DK Metcalf. They got a running back. They drafted Kenneth Walker, who has a small, slight hernia, which means what? I don't know if Rashard Penny is going to be starting. But with that said, when the whole world is on a team, it usually doesn't end well. We're going to take the Broncos -6. We bought the hook, and we're going to pray that, Russ wins by 7 or more. A lot of pressure on him coming back home. A lot of emotions here. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a close game, but we're going to lean Broncos -6 here, Pops.
All right. I like it. All right. So there it is. The first episode of season 3 of the NFL Bet Exchange is in the books. And so pretty much we'll be back next week. Probably Tuesday. Will Tuesday work for you, sir? Okay, perfect. Because that means that I can get to work on Sunday afternoon as soon as we get the game's in, and then I can go ahead and get started. So pretty much I stay a week ahead, y'all. So there it is. I want to thank you guys once again for tuning in. This was a live show, but it will be available all week. I'll be retweeting and reposting and resharing all week long. So you guys make sure to share, tweet, whatever you have to do. Let's get this show some big views and everything like that. Jeff, would you like to go ahead and what would you like to tell us on our way out?
Listen, guys, it's week 1 of a marathon. It's 17, 18 weeks. I know everyone's hot and horny here because football's back, but we want to see you here in October. We want to see you here in November. We want to see you playing on Thanksgiving Day and at the end of December and into January. So don't blow your whole bankroll in the first couple of weeks. Pick your spots. We've given you guys a lot of information to decipher here. You don't have to go just because it's on TV and play every game. Be smart. Take your favorite team and your ego, check it at the door, take the information, process it, take a few swings, and move on to the next week.
Yes, sir. And I totally agree with that. And I just think that, the movement is moving, and bet with your head and not with your heart, as we always like to say. So once again, this is the NFL Bet Exchange with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper, and the Don of Cape Cod himself, Mr. Jeff Dawson. And we'll be back to you next Tuesday live, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you guys tune in, and that's going to be a wrap.
Thank you for tuning in to the NFL Bet Exchange, where the sharpest bets are laid. This show was produced by the Prime Wave Media Group.